A controversial bill is on the calendar today in the legislature that could transform the state attorney general's power. Merritt Morgan spoke to a North Carolina senator and political science expert about NC Senate Bill 58. She joins us live now in the studio with more details. Good morning, Merritt. How could this bill impact North Carolinians?
Hey, good morning, Gigi. Over the last several days, I've taken a closer look at SB 58. Now, this bill would prevent the state's attorney general from challenging presidential executive orders. The legislation was introduced just months after Democrat Jeff Jackson won his race for attorney general, defeating Republican Congressman Dan Bishop.
Senator Jay Choker.
Concerns are rising from some following an abrupt introduction of NC Senate Bill 58 by the Republican majority.
We're on the floor, and all of a sudden this bill gets introduced out of the blue. We knew it was coming. We had no idea, nor was anyone prepared to vote on it.
The bill forbids the attorney general from filing, quote, any action or, quote, any argument that would invalidate any executive order from the White House.
The attorney general of the state of North Carolina is to uphold the law, whether it's a state law or a federal law, in the best interests of the people of the entire state of North Carolina. And this legislation would prevent them from doing that.
It comes just over 2 months after North Carolina's Democratic Attorney General Jeff Jackson took office on January 1st. Democratic State Senator Whitson Bradley, taking her frustrations to social media, says it's a bill she will not support.
If an executive order is challenged, then that means that there was something in it that the Attorney General deemed unlawful or unconstitutional or irreparably harmful for North Carolinians. And so if there isn't anything unconstitutional, unlawful, or harmful, then there shouldn't be an issue. So why is the majority party trying to give free rein to executive orders brought by one person?
The bill has already had a second reading in the Senate and was voted on. I reached out to the bill's 28 Republican supporters from that vote, as well as the 6 sponsors of SB 58, to get their take on the bill. One being Senator Bobby Hoenig, who represents counties in the East, such as Bertie, Terrell, and Pasquotank. However, I either did not hear back or no one was willing to talk. When asked what AG Jackson thinks, Press Secretary Ben Conroy says, quote, more than 70 federal executive orders have been issued. Attorney General Jackson has filed 4 federal lawsuits to protect billions in funding for Western North Carolina, our public universities, and rural jobs. In each case, judges across the country have agreed that the federal government's actions were likely unlawful or unconstitutional. Any legislation that undermines the independence of the Attorney General's office is bad for our state and its people, unquote. As SB 58 heads to the Senate floor for a final vote Tuesday, Bradley is working to educate more North Carolinians on both sides of the aisle about the bill.
People need to know what these bills are and what they do. And so I call it the Kingmaker bill, because if you take away the Attorney General's his position and his job title and what he does to enforce and call out unlawful actions, I have a real issue with that. And this is not a Democratic or Republican issue, and I want to make that crystal clear.
If approved, the legislation will be sent to the House of Representatives. Since April 2023, Republicans had held 72 seats in the House. That allowed the GOP to override then Democratic Governor Roy Cooper's vetoes at will as long as they remained united. After the 2024 legislative race results, Republicans will retain 71 of the 120 House seats, which is 1 seat short of the necessary 3/5 supermajority for veto-proof control. Now that the Democrats have 49 House seats, the veto stamp of new Democratic Governor Josh Stein could be more effective during the next 2 years in blocking GOP measures that he opposes. If not, it's a move that Bradley fears will result in even more states following suit.
There's no doubt about it. We will become the blueprint for other states that might have let's just say, for example, a Democratic Attorney General and a Republican majority, or vice versa. If the election results were different, I would still oppose this bill.
In the first month of his tenure, AG Jackson has joined lawsuits against the federal government over the potential exposure of North Carolinians' personal information to Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, an attempted freeze on wide swaths of funding from the National Institutes of Health, as well as an order by Trump to end birthright citizenship in the United States. Gigi.
Thank you, Merritt. Again, the final vote today will determine if the legislation will be sent to the House of Representatives.